The planet Zyphora had once been the jewel of its galaxy. Towering spires of shining metal and crystal glittered under 3 suns, and rivers of liquid light flowed through its cities. The Thrillians, the planet's inhabitants, were proud, brilliant, and peaceful. They had mastered energy manipulation, space travel, and even communication across light years. But that was long ago. Now, Zyphora was a shadow of its former self. The towering spires had crumbled, leaving jagged skeletons of metal and glass. The rivers of light had dried into dull, flickering streams. Most of the Thrillians lived in underground cities, where the air was recycled and the temperature stable. Above ground, storms raged constantly, remnants of the planet's destabilized climate. Leora, a young Thrillian scientist, walked through one of the ruined streets, her translucent skin glowing faintly under the dim sky. Her 3 eyes scanned the debris carefully. She had always been fascinated by the old city, even in its ruined state. Each broken structure told a story of innovation, ambition, and, most painfully, of abandonment. The galaxy had abandoned Zyphora 10 standard years ago. The Galactic Council, a coalition of advanced civilizations, had declared Zyphora too unstable for continued support. The natural disasters that had struck the planet were considered inevitable consequences of poor planetary management, they said. No aid was sent. No fleets arrived. The Thrillians were left alone. Leora stopped near the remains of a great library, a place that had once housed the knowledge of 1,000 generations. Its walls were cracked, books burned or scattered, and the energy cores that once powered it lay dark. She kneeled beside a small, partially intact data crystal. Its surface flickered weakly. Carefully, she touched it, and a projection sprung to life, a recording of a Thrillian teacher speaking to a class centuries ago. "The stars are our home. We are bound to them by curiosity, by knowledge, and by hope," the teacher said. Leora felt a pang in her heart. Hope, something she had been struggling to feel for a long time. The underground city hummed softly as Leora returned. Other Thrillians moved quietly along the tunnels, their expressions weary. The society had not collapsed completely, but the spark of vitality that once defined them had dimmed. Children learned from damaged data streams, and artisans crafted beauty from broken materials. It was survival, not thriving. In her lab, Leora worked tirelessly. She had a small team of scientists, engineers, and energy specialists. Their goal was simple, yet daunting: to stabilize Zyphora's failing infrastructure. Each day, they patched energy grids, reinforced weak buildings, and monitored the volatile storms above. But the planet resisted. Natural disasters struck unpredictably, and every success felt fragile. One evening, while monitoring the outer communication array, Leora noticed an anomaly. A faint, unusual signal from beyond the galaxy, one that did not match any known Thrillian or Council frequencies. Her 3 hearts raced as she decoded it. The signal was structured, intelligent, and human. Humans. The legends of humanity had traveled across space long before the Council abandoned Zyphora. They were said to be unpredictable, bold, and remarkably inventive. Many Thrillians had doubted that humans could survive beyond their own fragile planet. But here was proof. A fleet approaching Zyphora, moving faster than any Thrillian craft could. The news spread quickly. The council chambers, normally filled with cautious whispers, erupted into discussion. Some Thrillians wanted to prepare for defense. Others suggested ignoring the humans. After all, they had been abandoned before and had survived. Why trust outsiders now? Leora stood before the council, her voice calm but firm. "We have no choice. If these are humans, they may be our only hope. They come with technology and knowledge we have never seen. We must prepare to meet them." Preparation was difficult. The Thrillians had limited power, and most of their defensive fleets had been decommissioned. Leora and her team worked day and night to repair communication arrays and energy shields. They could not predict the humans' intentions. Were they here to help, or would they take advantage of Zyphora's weakness? Days passed. The human fleet drew closer, Zyphora's sky became filled with strange shapes, silver hulls reflecting the dim light, engines glowing softly. The humans moved with confidence, a mixture of caution and determination. Leora watched from the surface, her hands trembling. This was the moment the Thrylians had waited for and feared for years. When the humans landed, the first contacts were tense. Human emissaries, wearing simple suits designed for environmental adaptation, stepped onto the planet's surface. They carried no weapons, only devices for communication and scanning. Their leader, a tall human named Captain Elias, extended a hand in greeting. Leora hesitated, then stepped forward, placing her hand against his in the Thrylian gesture of trust. The humans began helping immediately. They analyzed energy systems, repaired failing cores, and even helped stabilize the atmosphere in exposed areas. The Thrylians watched in awe. This was not simply technology. It was creativity, improvisation, and courage. Humans did not follow rigid protocols. They observed, adapted, and acted. Yet not all Thrylians were convinced. Some elders muttered that humans might leave once Zyphora became stable, repeating the abandonment they had suffered before. Leora understood their fear. She had felt it too, but she also knew that the humans had a different energy. They stayed when the task seemed impossible, faced danger without hesitation, and treated Thrylians as equals, not inferiors. One night, as storms raged above, a massive tremor struck the city. A key energy grid threatened to collapse, and thousands of Thrylians were at risk. Leora and a team of humans raced to the site. Using a combination of Thrylian energy manipulation and human engineering, they stabilized the core just in time. The success was celebrated quietly, but it marked a turning point. Trust had been built not by words, but by action. Leora walked through the city streets the next morning, now calm after the night's chaos. Children played in repaired areas, humans and Thrylians side by side. Leora felt a cautious hope blooming inside her. For the first time in a decade, Zyphora's people looked to the future instead of the past. And yet, she knew the galaxy still watched. Other civilizations might see humans as intruders or threats. The Council had not returned, and some neighboring systems still harbored resentment. Zyphora's salvation was only the beginning. Leora climbed to the top of a ruined spire, looking out over the recovering city. The suns shone faintly through the storm clouds, casting a glow on the humans' ships as they worked tirelessly. She whispered softly, "Perhaps hope has found us, even when the galaxy abandoned us." In that moment, Zyphora was no longer alone. Humanity had arrived not as conquerors, not as rulers, but as allies, and the Thrylians, once abandoned, now faced the possibility of a new beginning, led by ingenuity, courage, and an unexpected bond with a species that the galaxy had often underestimated. The journey ahead would not be easy. The storms above, the scars below, and the watching eyes of the galaxy were all challenges waiting. But Leora knew one thing. With humans beside them, the Thrylians had a chance to rise again, and deep within her heart, she felt the spark of something she thought she had lost forever: hope. The morning sun barely broke through the storm clouds above Zyphora, casting a pale light over the recovering city. The ruins of once great spires reflected the shimmer of human and Thrylian energy work. Leora walked alongside Captain Elias and a small team of humans, moving through a neighborhood recently stabilized after a violent tremor. Children's laughter echoed faintly in the background, a sound that had been rare for many years. Despite the small successes, the Thrylians could not ignore the larger problems. Zyphora's weather systems were unpredictable. Energy grids remained fragile, and the scars of past abandonment ran deep in the minds of the people. Leora had learned to measure progress in small victories, but she also knew that the planet's safety depended on more than patchwork fixes. It required bold action and new ways of thinking. Captain Elias stopped beside a collapsed transport hub. "We need to rebuild the main energy conduit," he said. His human voice carried calm authority. "It's the only way to stabilize this section of the city permanently." Leora studied the plans spread out on a holographic display. Humans and Thrylians had been working together, combining old Thrylian energy manipulation with human engineering designs. It was an unusual partnership. Thrylians relied on precision and tradition, humans on innovation and adaptability. Together, they made surprising progress. "We'll need to reroute some of the storm shields temporarily," Leora replied. "It's risky. If we miscalculate, it could trigger another collapse." Elias smiled faintly. "Risk is part of progress. We'll calculate and adapt as we go." The work began immediately. Humans climbed atop unstable structures, securing scaffolding, while Thrylians focused on stabilizing the energy fields. Sparks flew, engines hummed, and strange blue light pulsed as the two species collaborated. Leora felt a thrill of hope. This was the first time she saw Zypher's recovery moving faster than the planet's destruction. Days passed in a blur of activity. Humans taught Thrylians how to think outside conventional methods, building energy conduits from flexible alloys, stabilizing storm shields with dynamic feedback systems, and even improving air purification with simple but effective technology. Thrylians, in turn, showed humans the delicate control of energy flows that only centuries of practice could produce. The city began to feel alive again. Streets were safe to walk on, power flowed steadily, and the first clean water had returned to surface rivers. Citizens cautiously emerged, watching the joint team's work. Trust grew slowly but surely. Leora noticed that the Thrylians who had once doubted humanity's motives now sought their guidance. The spark of belief in a brighter future was returning. Yet, Zyphora's challenges were far from over. One afternoon, an intense storm system approached the planet far stronger than anything recorded in recent memory. The ground trembled as wind tore across the surface. Leora's communication device buzzed urgently. Sensors had detected massive energy surges threatening the planet's remaining cities. The council convened quickly, but panic simmered beneath the surface. Many Thrylians suggested retreating underground, letting the cities suffer while the storm passed. But Leora knew that passive survival would not save Zyphora. If they fled, the storm could destroy vital systems, setting the planet back decades. Captain Elias appeared at the council chamber doorway. "We can handle this," he said firmly. "We need a combined effort, humans and Thrylians working as one. If we act now, we can stabilize the worst-hit areas and minimize damage." Leora met his gaze and nodded. "Then we act." The operation began immediately. Teams were divided across the planet's critical infrastructure. Humans engineered protective barriers and mobile energy stabilizers, while Thrylians amplified and directed energy flows to reinforce weakened structures. Sparks, wind, and lightning filled the sky, making the streets below look like a battlefield from the old stories of Zyphora's past. At the central energy hub, Leora and Elias coordinated the efforts. A massive surge threatened to overload the core. Leora concentrated, guiding the Thrylian energy flow, while Elias directed human engineers to adjust the stabilizers. Every second counted. A misstep could trigger a cascade failure across the city. "Almost there," Elias shouted. "Keep the flow steady." Leora extended her hands, feeling the energy pulses ripple through her body. With careful precision, she redirected the unstable energy toward temporary conduits. Sparks crackled dangerously around them, but the system held. Finally, after hours of intense work, the energy surge was contained. The storm began to subside, and Zyphora's cities, though battered, remained standing. Exhausted but triumphant, humans and Thrylians looked at each other and smiled. This success was more than technical. It was proof that trust, cooperation, and ingenuity could overcome even the fiercest challenges. News of their success spread quickly. Citizens emerged from underground shelters to witness the repaired structures and restored energy grids. For the first time in decades, the planet felt alive with possibility. Leora walked through the streets, noting the human children playing with Thrylian children, sharing games, laughter, and curiosity. Even the council, once skeptical, praised the efforts. "Human ingenuity has shown us what we could not imagine," said one elder. "Perhaps we were wrong to doubt their intentions." But Leora knew there were still risks ahead. Other civilizations in the galaxy had been watching Zyphora, and not all would welcome humans or Thrylians thriving together. Some would see the planet's recovery as a challenge or a threat. Yet, for the first time in her life, Leora felt a quiet confidence. Zyphora was no longer a victim. It had allies. It had hope. As evening fell, Leora and Elias climbed to the top of a high ridge overlooking the city. The view was breathtaking. Lights flickered in the rebuilt areas, storm clouds glowed faintly in the distance, and human ships hovered silently above, ready to assist wherever needed. "We did well today," Elias said quietly. "But this is only the beginning. The galaxy won't just hand us peace and safety. We have to earn it." Leora nodded, feeling a warmth of gratitude. Humans were not just allies. They were a source of inspiration. Their courage, adaptability, and determination were qualities Zyphora desperately needed. She felt certain that with them, her people could survive anything. Suddenly, sensors detected movement beyond the planet's borders. Small scouting ships from nearby systems were approaching, curious or cautious about the human involvement on Zyphora. Leora's heart raced. The galaxy was watching, and the eyes on them were not all friendly. Elias placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Let them come. They will see what cooperation can achieve." Over the following weeks, humans continued teaching the Thrylians new methods for survival and innovation. They repaired ships, stabilized planetary grids, and improved medical systems. Thrylians learned to adapt their ancient energy manipulation to modern engineering approaches, blending tradition with innovation. More importantly, the humans showed the Thrylians how to act boldly in the face of uncertainty. When a mining tunnel collapsed, humans and Thrylians worked together to rescue trapped workers, improvising tools and strategies on the spot. When a storm threatened a vital water reservoir, humans devised mobile shielding systems, while Thrylians stabilized energy flows to prevent flooding. Each event strengthened the bond between the species. One evening, Leora reflected on the progress. She had spent years studying her people's history, mourning the galaxy's abandonment, and fearing for the future. Now, she saw that survival was not only possible, thriving was possible. Humanity had brought more than technology. They had brought courage, hope, and a vision of what Zyphora could become. And deep within her, a thought took root. Perhaps humans were not just visitors. Perhaps they were the key to the Thrylians' revival. If the galaxy had turned its back, it was not the end. With humanity beside them, Zyphora could rise stronger than ever before. As night fell, Leora looked out across the city, where lights of human and Thrylian homes glimmered together. The storm had passed, but the challenges ahead remained. Yet for the first time, Zyphora faced the future not with fear, but with determination. The galaxy may have abandoned them once, but now Zyphora had a chance to show that courage, ingenuity, and unity could overcome even the greatest despair. Humanity had arrived, and with them, the Thrylians would find their way back to greatness. Leora closed her eyes, whispering a vow to herself. "We will not fail. We will rise. Together." The sky above Zyphora glowed with the first light of dawn. After months of work, the planet was slowly recovering. Cities had been rebuilt, energy grids stabilized, and the once desolate streets were alive with activity. Humans and Thrylians worked side by side, repairing buildings, teaching new skills, and exploring ways to improve the planet for generations to come. Yet, even in this moment of progress, Leora knew challenges remained. Other civilizations in the galaxy had been watching Zyphora. Some were curious, some were cautious, and some were openly hostile. The recovery of Zyphora, led by humans, was a signal that the abandoned planet could thrive again. Not everyone would welcome that. Leora walked through the central square of the rebuilt city, where citizens were gathering to celebrate the completion of a major energy hub. Humans and Thrylians had worked together to build it a towering structure that glowed softly, powered by both human engineering and Thrylian energy manipulation. Children ran along the streets, laughing, while adults watched in quiet amazement. It was a symbol of what unity could achieve. Captain Elias approached Leora, his expression serious but calm. "There is news," he said. "A fleet from the Galactic Council is approaching. They want to see the humans' involvement on Zyphora. Some are curious. Others, less so." Leora felt a flicker of worry. The Council had abandoned them years ago, leaving Zyphora to struggle alone. Now, those same beings had returned, their intentions unclear. She nodded. "We'll meet them, but we cannot rely on their approval. Our work speaks for itself." The Council fleet arrived in silence, massive ships hovering above Zyphora. Scouts and observers descended to the planet's surface, keeping a careful distance. The Thrylians gathered in the central square. Anxious, yet determined, Leora stood at the forefront, ready to speak for her people. A council representative, a tall and imposing alien with silver skin and elongated limbs, stepped forward. "Thrylians," the voice boomed. "Your planet has attracted attention. The humans' involvement is unusual. We demand an explanation." Leora stepped forward confidently. "We were abandoned. The galaxy turned its back on us. Humans arrived not as conquerors, but as allies. They helped us survive. They taught us new ways to protect our planet and rebuild our civilization. We owe them our lives." The council members' expressions softened slightly, but skepticism remained. "And now you invite humans to guide your recovery? This is unprecedented." "Yes," Leora replied. "Because we have learned that survival is not just about rules or tradition. It is about courage, ingenuity, and collaboration. Humans have shown us that." Captain Elias spoke next. "We are not here to rule Zyphora. We are here to help, as friends and partners. Your planet is strong. Your people are brilliant. And together, we can ensure that Zyphora thrives." The council deliberated, observing the unity and progress of the planet. Citizens, Thrylians, and humans alike worked together openly, demonstrating skills, discipline, and creativity. Slowly, the council representatives began to understand that Zyphora had changed, that hope and courage could rebuild even what the galaxy had abandoned. But before a decision could be reached, a sudden alarm blared. Sensors had detected an anomaly in orbit. A rogue faction of the council, opposed to human involvement, was approaching. Their ships moved aggressively, weapons primed. Panic spread through the city as citizens and workers scrambled to safety. Leora and Elias exchanged determined glances. "We can't let them harm Zyphora," Elias said. "We must defend our people, and we must show the galaxy that cooperation is stronger than fear." Humans and Thrylians worked together to prepare defenses, but not as a fight to destroy. Their plan was clever and creative. They would disable the intruders' weapons temporarily and force communication without violence. Using a combination of Thrylian energy shields and human tactical drones, they moved strategically. The rogue faction fired, but their shots were deflected by energy barriers. The humans piloted drones that jammed the attackers' targeting systems, while Leora and her team redirected energy flows to confuse sensors. The operation required absolute precision, and every moment felt like a heartbeat of danger. Finally, a human communicator projected a message to the fleet. "We do not seek war. We seek cooperation. We are demonstrating that humans and Thrylians can work together to protect life, without conflict. You have a choice. Observe, or escalate." There was tense silence in the orbiting fleet. Slowly, weapon systems powered down, and the rogue faction halted. Representatives from the main council intervened, speaking to the faction with authority. The threat ended peacefully, and the city below erupted in quiet relief. Leora felt her 3 hearts pounding, but also a profound sense of pride. Humans had not only helped save Zyphora physically, but also demonstrated the moral strength that the galaxy had often underestimated. Their courage and ingenuity had prevented violence and protected countless lives. That evening, in the central square, a historic declaration was made. The Thrylians officially recognized humanity as allies and partners. Leora stepped forward to address the gathered crowd. "Today," she began, her voice echoing across the city. We show the galaxy what is possible when we act with courage, intelligence, and unity. Humans came to us when all others turned away. They did not seek power, only to help. And together, we have protected our home, restored our people, and shown that even the abandoned can rise again. The crowd erupted in cheers, the sound echoing across the rebuilt streets. Children waved at human engineers, Thrylians embraced one another, and the skies above Zyphora glowed with lights from ships and energy cores. Captain Elias approached Leora afterward. "You led them well," he said. "Your people have courage. And now, together, we can explore new possibilities." Leora smiled. "And show the galaxy that survival is not just about strength or power. It is about hope, ingenuity, and friendship." In the weeks that followed, Zyphora flourished. Humans taught Thrylians new exploration methods, combining their technology with Thrylian energy control. The planet's industries were revitalized, agriculture restored, and education renewed. Children learned both Thrylian and human methods of invention, growing up to embody the best of both species. Other civilizations began to take notice. Reports of Zyphora's recovery spread across the galaxy. Some were inspired, seeing humans as protectors and innovators. Others approached cautiously, curious but wary. Through it all, Leora and Elias maintained a simple message: cooperation, respect, and courage were stronger than fear and bureaucracy. Months later, a festival was held in the central square to honor the new alliance. Ships from human colonies hovered above, their lights dancing in celebration. Thrylians displayed inventions combining ancient energy techniques with modern engineering. Citizens from both species mingled freely, sharing stories, games, and ideas. Leora looked out across the crowd, feeling a deep sense of accomplishment. The journey had been difficult. Storms, disasters, and skepticism had tested them all. But humanity had proven that courage and ingenuity could rebuild what the galaxy had abandoned. Zyphora was no longer alone. It had allies, hope, and a future. Captain Elias stood beside her. "Your people have shown the galaxy what's possible," he said. "And your partnership with humans will set an example for generations to come." Leora nodded. "We were abandoned once. But now, we are stronger than ever. Together, we will face the galaxy with courage, knowledge, and hope." The suns set over Zyphora, casting a warm glow over the rebuilt city. The energy hub pulsed steadily, a symbol of resilience and innovation. Ships moved gracefully above the skyline, carrying humans and Thrylians alike, exploring new frontiers. For the first time in centuries, Zyphora looked to the stars not with fear, but with confidence. The galaxy may have abandoned them, but they had found a savior in humanity, and together they would rise, proving that even the most forsaken worlds could shine brilliantly when courage, unity, and ingenuity guided the way. Leora whispered softly to herself, gazing at the sky. "We have hope, we have allies, and we have a future. Zyphora will never be abandoned again." And in the quiet hum of the city, a new chapter began, one where humans and Thrylians would explore, build, and protect not just their own world, but all those abandoned by the galaxy. Together, they would be a beacon of hope for countless civilizations. A living proof that courage, creativity, and unity could overcome any darkness.